get the hell out of here. But what he didn't realize in that moment was that he just let a monster walk free. When Todd went back inside, he started to notice things that he hadn't noticed before. There was blood all over the floors, so much blood, in fact, that it was hard to track where it was even coming from. And that's when Todd started going room to room, just looking for his family. Now remember, it was a mobile home, and I don't know the exact layout of it, but think of it as like a very long trailer with this long hallway and then bedrooms scattered on either side. And inside of his little son Devon's room was a horrific scene. Stacy was in there, lying on her back on a futon bed, a blanket on top of her body. But it was clear she wasn't just lying down and resting or taking a nap. She wasn't moving. And this blanket on top of her was completely saturated in dark liquid. Her body was also cold, her coloring was off, and it was clear that Stacy was dead. And it was also clear that she had been dead for quite some time. Now, Todd wouldn't know it until later, but Stacy had been shot twice in the chest and once in the back. The gunshots had hit two vital organs, her heart and her lungs. And sadly, she wasn't alone. On the floor in Devon's room was Donald. His body hadn't been covered with a sheet or a blanket or anything else, and he too was surrounded by a pool of blood. He had been shot once in the shoulder and once in the chest. He was dead too. Stacy's mom, Tammy, was in the laundry room, but she wasn't hiding like Aaron had said. She had been shot once in the neck and once in the back. And for whatever reason, her body too was covered with a blanket, which I cannot even begin to imagine the trauma that Todd went through that day. Going door to door of your home where you are supposed to feel safe, protected, comforted, and seeing your entire family annihilated. I mean, I just can't imagine finding your family slaughtered in your own home. Now, to make matters worse, all of the victims had been shot with a 20-gauge shotgun. And I'm sure a lot of you are probably very familiar with this, but shotgun wounds are a lot more brutal and gory than if somebody is shot with, say, a regular handgun or Glock. They quite literally will shred you and rip you apart. So when I say that there was blood all over the house and all over the surrounding bodies, I mean it. It was chaos. But by the time that Todd found the bodies and recognized what Aaron had done, Aaron was long gone. Not only had Todd already kicked him out, but you see, he had already been planning his escape route. After he shot and killed Stacy's mom, Tammy, he grabbed her car keys to her truck, moved the truck around to the back of the house so that it would be out of anybody's line of sight when they went by the house, but also so that it would be close enough that when he would flee, he could jump in the truck and take off. And that's exactly what he did. Even though Todd was shocked and confused by everything that had just happened, not to mention the injuries that he had suffered from being stabbed multiple times by Aaron, there was still one thing heavily weighing on his mind. He hadn't seen either one of his children in the house. And I'm sure that he was in a state of shock seeing the horrific things that he had just seen. But as a parent, I'll just be the first to tell you, it doesn't really matter what else is going on. Your kids are always and always will be your top priority. And the fact that he didn't see either one of them, it was enough to send chills down his spine. So he quickly started searching the rest of the house. And that's when he found 2-year-old Braxton. Now, fortunately, Braxton was okay. He was just in another room separated from the other bodies. There wasn't even a scratch on him, thank God. But he was all alone, this 2-year-old little boy. And then that left the question of, okay, well, where was Devon? Remember, Stacy had arranged for him to be at his grandparents' house after school that afternoon. But by this point, Todd fully expected Devon to be home. This was now late in the evening. Now, I'm sure that Todd, maybe in the moment, just tried to convince himself that, okay, maybe Devon, being the older brother, hid Braxton in this room away from the others to keep him safe, and then he went on his own and hid in another room. Devon was an amazing big brother. He was always looking out for Braxton. But Devon was nowhere to be found. So Todd wasn't really sure what else to do. He grabbed Braxton and he jumped in the car and he drove down the road to Tammy and Donald's house for help. Luckily, Tammy's brother was there. I'm assuming that he lived there as well. And Todd was able to use his cell phone to call 911. And I'm not sure if Todd had lost his phone in the struggle with Aaron or if maybe he left it behind in a panic or what happened. But all to say now, he was finally able to call the authorities.